Gone. Caught it for a slip. Williams goes. Brendan Julian strikes with a second delivery, and Australia have made an early breakthrough.
Well, it's a lovely, well-pitched up ball. Didn't do a lot, but he got it in the right area. It just tempted Williams. Really poor footwork, really. Never really got his foot too far forward. I've mentioned this before in the one-day matches. Williams does not move that front foot. He stays back, plays from the crease, and he just threw the bat at the ball, and full marks to Brendan Julian, and it's 1 for 1.
So that's a disappointment for Williams, an early blow for Australia, and it will mean that Brian Lara will have to come in a lot earlier than he would have wanted. So big welcome for Brian Lara. Trinidad and Tobago flags waving, and the crowd welcoming the most famous left-handed batsman in international cricket at the present time. And he comes in the course of the second over with Williams gone.
Well, not a great shot. Look at that left foot of Williams. It really never got there before he played the shot. He's on the move. He really has some work to do on his footwork. Stuart Williams. Great opportunity for Brendan Julian. Get an early wicket. Get the best player in the world in, the world record holder. Get him in early. Oh, you're fresh and alive. Adrenaline's pumping now for Julian. He's got a early wicket. Well, we have a shot here from the square leg. You see, it's coming late, isn't it? Look at that left foot. It never really got there. It's actually coming after he played the shot. It's coming to the pitch of the ball instead of being there before he plays the shot. Yeah, nicely bowled. Lovely line. Tempting length. Get the batsman driving.
So a big responsibility here now on Brian Lara. Should be in good touch, although there was a little bit of concern in the West Indies camp when he aborted his practice session in the nets on Wednesday. Still is bothered a little bit by that hip injury, muscle injury in the buttocks, which he sustained in the one-day internationals. So Lara is off the mark. Just to push off the legs, and there'll be time for a third.
Well, we talked about this pitch. It's got two patchy areas where the grass has not got rolled in. It looks flat and dry. It is. You have a little sprinkling of water. You see those tufty areas there on the right of your screen? There's the tufty bits coming through. Each day they'll grow and they'll have to be cut. The pitch itself is quite dry with just a sprinkling of water yesterday evening. And that's where the odd little bit of, well, movement, little bit of bounce. I don't think you're going to get a lot here. The ground staff say there are 4 pitches in Barbados, and 2 of them are belting batting pitches, and this is one of them. But it just looks funny with those patches. The patches do look unusual. Usually you get a really flat surface, it's all the same, all the 22 yards. This has 2 very funny patches.
He's gone. West Indies have lost both openers now, and Sherwin Campbell has the indignity of being dismissed for a duck in his first test in the West Indies. So the West Indies in real trouble here, and the Australian flags are flying high.
Well, that was a beauty. I don't think you can blame Sherwin Campbell for that. That was a beautiful delivery. Full marks to the ball. Look at the bounce, the line he's bowling here. Just outside off stump, you've got to play it. It's right in that corridor where you must play at it. Because if that ball nips back, you're in trouble. It's bounced, look. It's held its line, just left him a touch, and he's nicked it. He's been good enough to nick it. And the bowler takes full marks to a classic delivery. The delivery you're not looking for as an opening batsman. 2 for 5.
So the West Indies have lost both opening batsmen. Their youngsters have gone. And in the circumstances, Richie Richardson has decided that he will come one above his advertised place in the order. In fact, he did state this yesterday when he was asked about the order that he would be flexible. And he has now decided, even though he was advertised at number 5, that in the circumstances he'll come at 4.
Well, I must say, I felt all along that it's a hell of a risk to play a test match with 2 immature, inexperienced openers.
Julian now to Lara. And the new batsman for the West Indies, Richie Richardson, the captain, coming in the middle of this potential crisis now, with both opening batsmen having gone. Only 5 runs on the board, and even though Richardson had put himself down at number 5 in the order, he did state yesterday that that will be flexible depending on the situation. And he's now decided that he'll take on the responsibility himself, and here he is at number 4.
It's such a big gamble in test match cricket to have 2 inexperienced openers together. And especially if you get experienced bowlers like rifle bowling. A little bit of bounce here, lovely line. It's just a good ball. It's just the early movement, the hardness of the ball, a little touch of moisture in the pitch. You're bound to get that. The ground staff are always going to sprinkle it the day before.
So the Australians are right on their toes now. See what to expect.
I just felt all along, it really is a big gamble to have 2 inexperienced openers together. I've been saying to friends of mine at the hotel where I've been staying at Sandy Lane that I would have batted Richie Richardson with one of the youngsters. I would really have one of the youngsters with an experienced player, put the captain in first, without Desmond Haynes being present. You need somebody to talk to a youngster, you know, it's in between overs as well. And also it helps a youngster who's starting his test career opening, if there's one guy at one end who's used to test match cricket, playing solid, playing well, using experience, helps the youngster, talks him through the situation. You leave 2 of them on their own, well, it really is fending for yourself. And they've paid the price at the moment. That may change in other test matches, but it is a hell of a gamble.
So that's the end of Julian's over. And the West Indies are 2 for 6. So here's Richie Richardson with his first delivery in a test match since April last year. Didn't play in the final test in Antigua because of a pulled muscle. So the last test he would have played would have been against England here at Kensington last April. And the acute fatigue which kept him out of the game for 6 months prevented him going to India or New Zealand.
Yes, it's the sort of early morning test match pitch where you expect the early batsman to have to just work a little bit hard to get in. A little bit of bounce, just a tiny bit of movement. Just got to work at it a bit. Not going to get too many flashing shots. Just work damn hard to get in. Get a little bit of hardness off the ball, a little shine gone. Get yourself a few runs.
He's gone. Richardson caught behind, flashing outside the off stump. And this is real crisis now for the West Indies. They're 3 down for 6. Richardson goes without scoring.
Well, you can't blame the pitch for that. That was an atrocious shot. That was awful. And just a wild swisher to the ball. I mean, when he sees that replay on television, he'll be mortified. I mean, that's not the pitch. That's not even the bowler. That is just an awful shot. Look. Feet stuck in chewing gum on the crease, they've never moved. You'd think that that was a one-day shot in the 50th over of the game, trying to crash it for 6.
So Richardson out without scoring. The West Indies are 3 for 6. So Captain Mark Taylor, having lost the toss today, wouldn't mind that too much now. Carl Hooper has come in to replace Richardson. The West Indies are 3 down for 6.
Well, I can't find one redeeming feature to say about Richie Richardson's dismissal. I mean, you expect some decent concentration, a bit of fight from a new batsman just coming in, and especially from the captain. You're looking for the captain to show the other players how to play, show them the lead. That was an appalling shot. West Indies are under pressure this morning from 1 good ball and 2 poor shots. Williams' shot was poor footwork, and Richardson's shot was just non-existent footwork. And they've put themselves under a lot of extra pressure now.
Glorious shot off his toes, characteristic of Lara on song.
Well, all the fast bowlers this morning have been trying to concentrate on Lara's off stump. They have set 3 slips on the gully. On that occasion, Brendan Julian just slipping off that off stump line, just tending to drift into Brian Lara's pads and getting punished for it. In the era bit past, David Boone had forward short leg, but that went too quickly for him.
There again, just a little over-pitched again, and just with a delicate flick of the wrist, and that's where he's so strong off his pad, with beautiful, beautiful hands, beautiful wrist work. It's 4 more.
Well, that's the class of Brian Lara. Things have been a bit difficult out there this morning. And whenever the bowler has strayed in either line or length, he has been quick to punish them. That ball wasn't particularly a bad ball, just fractionally off line.
That was short, and Lara has dispatched it effortlessly for 4. Just a slight lapse in concentration by Julian.
Well, he had tried that shot on a delivery, a couple of deliveries ago, as a matter of fact, and just succeeded in hitting it hard into the ground, and it was fielded by Steve Waugh at gully. On this occasion, Brendan Julian just a fraction shorter than the previous delivery, and Brian Lara quickly onto it. 4 more. Very good shot.
Picked that up very early, did Hooper, and of course not afraid to strike the ball in the air, which he can afford to do with the field up like this. The Australians attacking relentlessly, and he's timed it sweetly.
Well, there are only 2 men in front of the bat. One on the offside and one on the onside. The man on the onside, of course, a forward short leg, and the man on the offside at cover. So Carl Hooper deciding to go over the top and doing that quite safely.
The moments everybody's been waiting for. And they've not had to wait for very long. Into the first hour, Shane Keith-Warne has been called into the attack by Mark Taylor.
Well, after Shane Warne got treated so badly in the one-day series, I think a lot of people probably thought that, okay, he's not as good as people are making him out to be, but I think they'll see a different Shane Warne in the Test series than they saw in the one-day series. Of course, one-day cricket being a lot different from Test cricket, the batsmen approach it a lot differently, a lot more attacking. But I think now that Shane Warne is coming on with the West Indies 3 wickets down, he's certainly bowling with a lot of confidence.
Advanced to the first one, met him on the full 4.
Well, Shane Warne has decided that he is going to bowl round the wicket for Carl Hooper, perhaps because of the worn areas outside the leg stump of Carl Hooper. Carl Hooper on that occasion decided that he didn't want Shane Warne to be pitching in those worn areas, so he used his feet and got down, hit it on the full, and that's the end result, into the Kensington stand.
Just got a touch on that. Venkat signals 4. Warne looks pensively.
Well, that wasn't a bad delivery from Shane Warne. As you can see there, look at that ball drift away from Carl Hooper. Just getting the inside edge down into the fine leg region. But again, Carl Hooper advancing down the pitch, trying to get to the ball before it pitches in those rough areas.
Yet again, down the track. And Carl Hooper is making a statement, I think, a very emphatic statement, not unlike what happened in the one-day games, when it's as though they've come together in a team meeting and he is declaring the hand of the West Indian batsman. There's a very characteristic shot of Brian Lara off the hip. There's a little bit of the D.I. Gower in that as well, isn't there? The famous clip, the left-hander's clip off the hip. Glorious shot.
Well, they did say that Brian Lara was having problems with his hip, so he doesn't want anything to be hitting him in it, Mike. So he just dispatched that one off the said area quite easily.
No! There he is in full flight. And that brings up his 2000th Test run. That shot, 3 for 48.
And what a shot to bring it up with. The right leg, which is the front foot coming forward. The bat just flowing through the line of the ball. Elbow upright. Nothing wrong with that shot. Perfectly timed.
Lovely shot, Carl Hooper. Jeffrey made mention of his beautiful hands. He has great soft hands when he pushes the ball to point and behind square leg for ones. He also has lovely footwork and timing and push past the outstretched McGrath.
Exquisite was that. He ran round it a little bit. You knew Shane Warne was aiming it outside leg stump. He ran round it. Lovely footwork. Nice timing.
Well, Hooper's done it again. He's taken the mantle to Shane Warne. There's some speculation that perhaps it would only last through in the one-day series, but he's on the attack. Lovely touch, Carl Hooper. He's in wonderful batting form and scoring form.
Well, that was just a good shot. It wasn't too short, that. Just a touch. Just a little bit of width, not much, and he just played a late cut.
Great shot. Short cover, wide mid-off, and dissected them both.
Width again from Shane Warne, throwing it out there, giving Lara the chance to chase it, and he chases it very well. Foot right over to the pitch lock, head over the pad. Didn't time it perfectly, but the footwork was good.
A big shout, and a genuine shout from behind the stumps as well. A long way down, Brian Lara. Would be disappointed to have been given out, but dangerous.
You see, that ball did come back a lot. It hit the foot marks. You watch this ball closely. Big spin, but it hits the foot marks, comes back, hits him on the inside of the pad.
Well, he's found the gap. So typical of Brian Lara to find the gap in the field, and there wasn't much of it. And the boundary to him.
Very good shot again from Brian Lara. By no way a half volley.
Didn't quite get hold of it as he wanted. It'll go all the way. But he put enough effort into it to carry the ball to the boundary. Very quickly in position. So 4 more to Lara. Carries him now to within 1 of his half century, 3 for 95. You can make 501, you can make 375, you can make all the big runs you want, but when you see a landmark, even the first landmark, which is the 50, anxious to get it, and we saw Lara there just offering the single, trying to get it. And he gets it now.
Very sound half centre there from Brian Lara. Team in desperate trouble, and again he's responding. Very good innings so far. Just 74 balls it took him.
Mark Waugh, very useful bowler. Did very well here in the West Indies in '91. Topped the bowling averages on that occasion, as he did the batting. Also took the most catches, so he had a fair tour here 4 years ago. Well, pulled away with contemptuous ease by Carl Hooper, who raises 100 for the West Indies.
Mark Waugh is bowling with a similar field to the one that McGrath bowled to, but certainly McGrath didn't attempt to bowl as short as that. That was much too short. Only 2 men on the onside, one at mid-on and the man at fine leg. Lots of space on that offside, onside rather.
And very short and banged away this time through the covers for another boundary.
Apparently there are many spaces on the offside. Or that's what Carl Hooper thinks at any rate. Much too short there again from Mark Waugh. Much too short at his pace.
Has gone. What a way to bring up his half century.
Well, Mark Waugh has always been a very aggressive medium-paced bowler. But he's bowling to a man in top form, the height of his confidence. Can't afford to be bowling that short.
Three fours in the over, 3 for 108. So that is a really authoritative response to a crisis. Century partnership in 92 minutes from 132 balls. Shane Warne with the last over before lunch. Oh, glorious. Oh, my goodness. That's worth the admission price alone.
That was brilliant from Brian Lara. The man there at Silly Point brought in to intimidate him, and instead the roles are reversed.
One good shot always deserves another.
Well, that was not a real action replay done by the VT team. That was actually another shot by Brian Lara. Quite similar response from the man at Silly Point. And now with Brian Lara doing the intimidating, the Silly Point now sent back to extra cover.
So the end of play before lunch, and at lunch on the opening day of the series, 3 for 118, the West Indies. Correction, 3 for 116, with 58 to Brian Lara, 51 to Carl Hooper. Each batsman has struck 10 fours, and the crowd here has been royally entertained, as I'm sure those of you watching our television coverage all over the world have been.
Well, what a terrific set.
Well, he's got that one away. Fractionally short, plenty of empty space on the leg side for Hooper.
Well, he's sort of medium pace just over, bangs that in. Really got to surprise the batsman at that pace, and it's a bit difficult to do that. You're only sort of medium.
He's got him, got his third wicket, well bowled, makes the breakthrough. Carl Hooper goes caught in the slips, and Julian gets his third wicket, with the West Indies now losing their fourth wicket for 130.
Well, I think he'll be very disappointed with that, with Carl Hooper. It was the angle going across him. The ball didn't do very much at all. It just went across the angle. If you watch this ball, it's on the line, just keeps on going. He's played inside it a touch, and it was neatly caught. I think there'll be a bit of disappointment there, because he didn't really get a ball that did anything. And when you're 60 not out, you expect to block those. 4 for 130.
With Jimmy Adams replacing Carl Hooper, coming in to join Brian Lara, and he'll also face a left-hander in Brendan Julian. Julian's third wicket, Taylor's second catch in the slips.
Well, here's the wicket that fell. The ball just going across the right-hander, pitching on the stumps, just playing inside it a touch.
Well, that's beautifully played. All timing, no ball for 4. Adams gets off the mark with a very sweet boundary.
Well, that shot is typical of the difference between Jimmy Adams and Brian Lara. Lara with a very high backlift, and Jimmy Adams much shorter backlift. Sweet timing and excellent control. They very much complement each other.
No need to move for that. Last ball of the over with that magnificent boundary. 4 for 140. Uppish, but will go all the way.
His batting basically is simplistic. Doesn't try the flamboyant strokes. Look, economy of movement, shortish backlift, and just clips it away. I like him.
The inside edge, but it's going to make it. Just goes to show how quick that outfield is. He wasn't comfortable there, Adams, but he got away with it. Oh, he's gone. That's a beautiful catch. Beautiful catch. Through the error from him, McGrath got a little bit more lift. And low and to his right. That is a magnificent catch. Adams is gone.
Yes, that was a very good catch there by Shane Warne. The ball was on its way down towards the ground and he managed to get his hands under it. Not a lot of movement. There you saw Jimmy Adams opening the face of the bat and the ball just sliding off the face of the bat into the hands of third slip. Very good catch by Shane Warne. Excellent slipper. It's now 5 for 152 West Indies.
Junior Murray has joined Lara. With a responsibility before him too, Michael.
And as we take another good look at that, you see it wasn't really a genuine edge there of the bat of Jimmy Adams. He turned the face of the bat and more or less guided into the slip region when he saw the movement of the ball. If we take another good look at this, you can see the ball hitting the middle of Jimmy Adams' bat, and when the ball hits the bat, he turns the face of the bat and glides the ball off the face of the bat into the slip corner. That certainly was not a genuine edge.
Went for the hook, top edge, just out of Healy's reach. A desperate attempt by Healy to leap. It was out of reach. McGrath hands on head, now hands on hips in despair.
That's just to show you the help that the fast bowlers are getting from this pitch. That ball bounced right up by Junior Murray's head. Not a very responsible shot in any case by him at all. Just eluding Ian Healy.
He's gone, I think, at the third attempt. Lara looked around to Lloyd Barker, looking for some confirmation. But it was Warne, Steve Waugh, to his right at the third attempt on the cut. Lara looked around to Barker, looking for confirmation or reconfirmation.
Again, it's the bounce here that Brian Lara is unable to get on top of that shot. Right to Steve Waugh, bounces out once, he grabs at it again. Finally, well, I can see now why Brian Lara looked behind him. He wasn't too sure if that ball had actually touched the ground. Very difficult to say there, but Steve Waugh claimed it, so it's 6 for 156 to West Indies.
Winston Benjamin playing.
Well, Australia certainly on top now with the dismissal of Brian Lara. Cut shot there by Brian Lara, going straight to Steve Waugh. It bounces out again. He grabs at it. There you see the ball near to his chest. It hits the ground, actually, and then he scoops it up. That's why Brian Lara was a bit doubtful. That ball definitely hit the ground. So I think Brian Lara was quite justified in looking behind him there. There is a possibility that Steve Waugh didn't quite realize that the ball did hit the ground, but it actually hit the ground and then bounced back up towards his chest. We take another good look at this. There the ball is up by his chest. There it goes, hits the ground, then bounces up back by his chest. The left arm comes around. That ball definitely hit the ground. Steve Waugh perhaps did not quite realize it, but I think Brian Lara was quite justified in looking at the square leg umpire for decision.
Got that one fine. And that is for 4. The umpire Venkat. I would imagine, Michael, that the West Indian camp will be very subdued, very disturbed by that.
Yes, I don't think they'll be too pleased with that, Mike, but it's debatable whether Steve Waugh realized that the ball hit the ground or not. You know, I would hate to think that he was well aware of the fact that the ball did hit the ground. Because normally you don't find Test cricketers claiming catches if the ball actually hits the ground. There you see the ball hitting the ground by his arm, then bouncing back up by his left shoulder.
Played away for 4. And one of the things you can't afford to do, Bob, as a bowler in this situation is to bowl to their tail-enders as though they are tail-enders. You've really got to treat them as close as you can bat.
I think in many ways a rather poor delivery from Big Glenn there, a little bit short. Winston Benjamin, one of the really good strikers of the ball in Test cricket.
Well, no third man, men in catching position in the slips, quite rightly so, at 6 for 166, but just being able to glide it past that third man.
It's a nice shot, this. Well over the top of the ball and just nudging it away. Don't leave much power there. It's always difficult for the captain. You've got to break through. You've got 6 wickets. You're looking to bowl them out. What do? Do you become over-attacking? Do you become conservative? I think over here in this case, dropping one down as he has done now is probably the right way to go.
Lovely timing. And the 2 consecutive 4s. One of the ball a bit short and outside off stump. The next one a bit full. And the attempted Yorker perhaps saw the slow ball just going into the half volley mode, Bob.
It's been quite amazing, this whole series over here so far, how often the West Indies batsmen have taken consecutive 4s. And it's something we're going to have to work harder on to stop, because there's no way in the world you want them to get an easy 4 after, you know, 1 4 gone by already.
He's bounced that over the top as well, and that's got plenty on it. It's a nice learning over for Glenn McGrath at the moment.
Yes, you've got a bowler here looking for wickets. Perhaps he should really at this stage be patient, just bowl to plan, just on outside the off stump, good length, and let the dismissals come as they did against the better batsmen. One of the big problems always when bowling to the later order is to over-attack, and so often people do, and then suddenly you're in trouble.
3-4s off that Glenn McGrath over, and the West Indies advanced to 6 for 178. Well, Bob, you called it right, and that is going to be a catch to you, Bobby. And the Venkat has signal 6. It's in the gutter.
He is a lovely striker of the ball, Winston Benjamin. I'm glad it's that man there, not myself. Perhaps we should station one up there. This is a lovely free hit, isn't it? Lovely, almost one-handed. Just slightly over mid-on. That's a good hit.
Well, he's got him, and Venkat has given him out. Yes, he has. There's no doubt with the Australian players, Bob.
No, Winston was a little reluctant at the crease, but as soon as the ball went in the air, you could see Ian Healy desperately looking round for it. And obviously, to their mind, it's come off probably the gloves or something. But that's a great boot for Australia. Pretty much as we called it. It was always going to be a very combative encounter. And on this occasion, we've seen Shane spinning one, getting a little bit of extra bounce. And very difficult to tell from there.
Glove or back of bats, Bob, but as you said, a difficult one to tell.
The other thing about it, his hand went off the bat too, so it might be something to have a look for.
7 for 184, the West Indies. Curtly Ambrose batting number 9 for the West Indies, facing Warren.
Well, tongue hanging out there. Showing regulation leg spinner. What a lovely shot that is. Here we go now. Going for the big one. Well, it certainly hit gloves.
Well, Ambrose has gone over the top as well. A nice free swing of the bat from the big fellow. A long stride, and if you're going to do anything to Shane Warne like that, Bob, you have to have that nice, lovely swing.
That's Ambrose's shot, really. Against the spinners, he has trouble judging the flight, and given any opportunity at all, he'll hit it down the ground. It's interesting how his bottom hand took over there and kept it on line. You can see it really coming through, kept it straight, so he didn't hit across the line.
Well, he slugged it in the air. Blewett is under it at cover, and won't make the mistake. So the bouncer followed by the wicket-taking ball. And, well, who knows?
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? The bouncer's the softener up. The other one is to ensure that you know what's going on. And at that stage, I think it's a 3-card trick for Curtly. He got a bouncer. He suddenly decided he was going to have a slog, and this was a slog. He just lined it up there much too late, and a very, very easy catch. But I think he could put that down to the ball before.
The man who's done some captaincy for the West Indies in times of Richie Richardson being out of the side, Courtney Walsh. And what a fine bowler he is. And now he's come in where his batting is needed, Bob.
Well, he's got a lift in order, hasn't he? Number 10. I thought he was a perennial number 11 batsman. So it appears that he's been lifted up the order, and no doubt Glenn McGrath will once again be relishing the opportunity of having a bowl at the later batsman.
Well, Courtney's having some fun. Very much like the old Wes Hall days, Bob. I would have thought. I remember as a youngster going to Adelaide, seeing Wes play those sorts of shots and reacting like that, and the crowd loved it.
I got no doubt the fieldsman also might have told Glenn McGrath what he was up to, trotting down the wicket and trying to pat down the imaginary spot where the bouncer landed in.
Well, I think that's a nervous reaction from Courtney. I don't think that he's doing it in a calm, controlled, collected manner. I think that he's the cat on the hot tin roof stage, Bob.
I've seen Kirtley bat a lot, and he's like most tail-enders. They don't really relish the bounces, so we'll wait and see what happens.
It's been suggested that some fast bowlers, like school bullies, well, they give it out, and when it comes back...
Here's Ambrose trying to hoik that one away. Really, the ball was up too far and too quick for that shot.
It's in the air and easy. So Courtney Walsh's slog didn't quite go where he wanted it to go, and Shane Warne gets another wicket. And the West Indies have lost their 9th for 194.
Yes, we're now seeing one of the big advantages of having a leg spinner in your side. He's polishing off tail-enders. Very difficult for tail-enders to hit leg spinners, especially such a big spinner as Shane Warne with various varieties. They might get the odd hit in, but that'll be all. Just committing harry-carry, not trying to hit him out of the ground too often. 9 for 194.
So Kenny Benjamin comes in as the last man for the West Indies, and Australia have taken the early advantage. 9 for 194. He won't face right away. The ball was in the air so long that Junior Murray scampered down so that he can get the strike. And Warne has picked up 2 wickets now. Winston, Benjamin and Walsh, and we're down to the last pair. So just a little lob shot from Junior Murray. Warne picking up his 2nd wicket with that of Courtney Walsh. And the West Indies are up against it, 9 for 195. So Murray has the opportunity for a bit of the strike. He's only, in fact, had 3 deliveries in the last 20 minutes. And he's watched as wickets have fallen at the other end. Faces McGrath. That's the end of the innings. Murray goes. The West Indies are all out for 195. McGrath gets the wicket. Murray looking for the cut shot. Mark Taylor snaps up his 3rd catch in the slips. And Australia have the early advantage in this opening test. The West Indies are all out for 195.
195 all out, the West Indies, in not quite 2 full sessions. The sort of...
Score to Michael Slater, no need to run for that. And Ambrose has bowled 2 full tosses just over, 1 to Taylor, which he got away with. But he didn't get away with that. The last ball of the first over for the West Indies. And Australia is none for 6. Lovely timing by Michael Slater. And 4 runs to the Australian side. There's great balance when the ball is pitched on that leg stump.
Courtney Walsh not quite finding the exact length on which he should be bowling yet. Couple of short deliveries, and then that one pitched up on Slater's legs. Justifiably punished.
Taylor repeats the dose from the other side of the ground. And we've had a ball hit in front of square leg for 4 and now in front of point for 4, showing that both batsmen might be in pretty good touch.
Very good shot there by Mark Taylor. Ball going across his body. Just pushed across the body by Curtis Ambrose. Not a great deal of movement off the seam. Mark Taylor going back and punching it through the offside.
Well, the inside edge to Michael Slater, he had no idea where that went. And he was just called through for the 2 by his captain at the other end.
Oh, that is a magnificent catch. Magnificent catch. And Slater could hardly believe it. It was short, he's laid back and hurling himself to the left. It's a magnificent catch.
Well, West Indies needed something. Yes, there's the anger. He can't believe it. He really did crack that ball. What a catch by Stuart Williams in a deepish gully. He hasn't had a good day with the bat, but he cracked this hard. It went flying, and he caught it. Absolutely like catching pigeons. Good camera work, super catch. And they've got the wicket at last, West Indies. 1 for 27, Australia.
Suddenly so subdued now, joyous. A chorus from the Kensington stand. Boone, who shows little emotion, just tucks that off his hip for two.
It's one of those slices of luck, or bad luck if you're the batsman.
He's got that one through. It was very lazy work by Benjamin. He got that through for 4, and Kenneth will not be impressed, I wouldn't think, with his namesake's performance.
Impressed? I'm glad it wasn't off Fred Truman or Dennis Lilly, who would have got a mouthful for this. I mean, this is just sloppy work. This is what really frustrates you about Winston. He's got so much talent. This is just a half-hearted attempt with the handler. Dear, oh dear. I mean, that just is sloppy, careless. Got such a low score of West Indies. That's a better shot. That's placed. Nobody could stop that. That's a good shot. But when you've got such a low score below 200, you really have to work hard at it. Every run is vital. You must give the batsman nothing.
Lovely shot down the ground. They just punched it away.
David Boone had a bit of a mini slump in Australia against England. Found form in New Zealand during the one-day games. He's a very, very fine player when he goes to the ball like that. He also has the ability to play the ball very late. But when he goes forward to the ball and just lets the timing do the work.
Cracked away by Taylor. That's the favourite shot for the Australian captain, the third time we've seen him play it for a boundary.
Not too much variation for Richie Richardson, and this time Boone advancing and has timed out beautifully the on drive, the emphatic signal from Ben Katarakaban. Here he is just leaning forward, just timing it beautifully. That will make Taylor feel a lot more comfortable, laying back to Hooper, placing it nicely, this time out of reach of Ambrose. It will make him feel a lot more comfortable.
Yes, a very good shot there by Mark Taylor. Not a great deal of spin there for Carl Hooper, just outside the off stump, and giving himself some room to slap it through the offside.
He's miscued that, and he will be so angry with himself. And Walsh has struck. Walsh has struck short. Winston Benjamin, alert this time, has taken the catch. And that is a very, very significant breakthrough.
Yes, very significant indeed. That bouncer was outside the line of off stump, and David Boone tried to pull it onto the onside. Didn't quite get hold of it. It's 2 for 72 Australia.
So Mark Waugh is on duty following the demise of David Boone to a shot that he would regret tonight. Just miscued. Tried to Pull it from outside the off stump. Predictable greeting from Walsh. And a responsible.
Not as good a delivery as the one that he bowled to David Boone. That was very short and very wide. Mark Ward just standing his ground and allow it to pass outside the off stump. Much better line the one that he bowled to David Boone.
That's well bowled. Seemed just a hint of the glove. Umpire Lloyd Barker says no. A 2 for 72.
Just over the head of the leaping Adams at short leg. He's giving him problems as well. So the West Indies have now just identified an area of discomfort for Mark Taylor. Twice they've upset him with that delivery.
And I think again, you see, it's when they took him up, when they get it fairly straight over middle and leg, and he's tucked up with the ball round about ribs area, he's in difficulty. Once you give him width outside off stump, he's an excellent player of front foot, back foot. I felt all along if you could sort of keep it tight into his body. I mentioned earlier when Kenny Benjamin was bowling, though, he's a slippy sort of customer like Winston. He seems almost an innocuous medium fast bowler, so Mark Ward better be careful of him. Now he's bowling from that southern end where all the great fast bowlers like to bowl from. Tend to like the ball from there. Usually the wind's just right for them, and they tend to bowl a little bit quicker when they're coming from that southern end.
Well, he's off the mark with the boundary neatly played off the legs. So Mark Wall finally gets off the mark from his 15th delivery. Been in for about 25 minutes.
See again there, if you get it into his body, he's not as comfortable. He played it okay, but the way he just jumps about a little bit, once it's into the body, he's both feet off the floor. I really feel that it's worth trying around the wicket. Anything different that makes the batsman have to think differently, play the ball from a different line, just means he has to think about it. Alters his way of playing.
He got it past the diving fielder. Made a desperate effort, Shervin Campbell, to get to it.
It was good cricket there. Richie Richardson and Kenny Benjamin brought the man up who had been out for the hook. Okay, you just see him in your picture there diving. He was back there for the hook. They brought him up. Mark Taylor saw that. He was thinking he might get a short ball. He did, and he whacked it into the gap. Good batting.
That's the end of the day's play. Mark Taylor knows it. He walks away, and he'll be satisfied with the day that his team has had. The opening day of the series, they're 2 for 91, having dismissed the West Indies for 195.
West Indies wanting to lift their game and get an early breakthrough. Australia, on the other hand, wanted it steady as before.
And he's been pushed through the gully, not all that convincingly, safely, and Lloyd Barker signals for.
Well, with no third man in place, anything that goes through that gap is always going to be forward. It's very difficult to prevent the ball from running down that hill into that third man boundary. And with only 2 slips and a gully in place, quite a big gap between the second slip and the man at gully. I think Winston Benjamin has always been able to bowl reasonably quick, Mike, so it doesn't really surprise me that the Australians thought that he was just as quick yesterday.
Got that one away nicely. Richardson in pursuit, but there's 3. This is such an important time for the Australians after the astonishing events of yesterday. Well, anybody could take the shock of the opening session yesterday. Well, really one of the most remarkable. West Indies suddenly 3 for 6. By lunch had recovered to 3 for 116. And then in the second session lost their last 7 for 65. Really a quite remarkable day. Now there's a need to consolidate. Off the edge, and that's 4. Benjamin looks at the floor.
Well, that shot has brought up the 100 for Australia. Not a very convincing stroke, but that is bound to happen when you see as much grass on the pitch as we saw this morning. Ball hitting the seam in that tuft of grass and just doing enough to hit the outside edge of Mark Taylor. But of course, only 2 slips in place. No third man. End result, 4 more for Australia.
Junior Murray asked a question. Just a little intimidation just to keep Mark Waugh's mind on the job. The West Indians believe they can get him with a short delivery aimed at the body.
This was a very good bouncer here by Courtney Walsh. Ball pitching outside off stump and of course coming back in towards the batsman. Always good to have the bouncer pitching outside the line of the body and coming back in towards the body. Always very dangerous.
He's got that one away. There's a chance, and he's been put down by Benjamin. He played for that, he bowled for that, Walsh. Waugh, who's been uncomfortable inside it, hooked it behind square instead of through square. Benjamin got the hands to it, couldn't hold it, put it down, a critical miss.
Yes, he was bowling for this. Mark Waugh eventually falling for the trap, hooking. Kenneth Benjamin seemingly having it covered the ground, got to it and didn't quite make it. Very disappointed, Courtney Walsh.
That says it all. Glorious shot by Taylor. He places it. And that is his 50. His 30th half-century in Test match cricket. Just a perfunctory lift of the bat towards the pavilion and nowhere else. That's interesting. He is so focused on the job ahead. This may well be the most decisive innings he's had to play for Australia. Certainly it is as captain. He just raised his bat quite perfunctorily to the pavilion, to his colleagues, and that was it. That's interesting. One over the top, a shot that he played in Australia in 92-3. 2 for 113. Mark Waugh played the shot a number of occasions at Melbourne in 92-3 and irritated the West Indian fast bowlers beyond measure. Interesting to see how they react. The question in everybody's mind is, when is Ambrose going to be used? 2 for 115. Characteristic of Waugh. It's an easy on drive. The mark of a champion player is to play it from off stump that casually to head on for 3. Got many runs to play with. I would have thought that Ambrose would have been employed by now. Clearly Richie Richardson's got a master plan. That is out. Kenny Benjamin has struck. Hooper has taken the catch. The critical breakthrough. Taylor has gone. He concentrated so intently without ever really getting on top. It had been a courageous hand. Drew the error. And Taylor is on his way.
Well, I mentioned yesterday evening late on that I felt the bowler should go around the wicket to Mark Taylor, if you remember. This is round the wicket. It draws him wide, you see. The ball's coming from a different angle, and he's done him easily. He's got him playing away from his body, feeling for it, and it's brought the result. 3 for 121.
And so it's the brothers Waugh in charge. Junior is already there, and he's been joined by Stephen, playing only his 3rd test match in the Caribbean. This glorious shot from Steve Waugh, and as he makes his entrance, so does David Hooks.
Well, Steve Waugh looks in a very hitting, aggressive mood. He's whacked the ball for 4 past squarely to get off the mark, and then he's hit another boundary because it can't be stopped by the big fella, who gives a wry smile. Not a perfectly timed shot, but he looks in a hitting, aggressive mood. Well, he's got away with that. Steve Waugh hits his 3rd boundary, and Australia is 3 for 138. Whack that over gully. There is a 3rd man. It's nowhere near that where that finished up. The boundaries coming as they did yesterday.
Well, an easy ball to hit this, short, wide. After he bowled a really good short ball, then he gives him an easy ball to put over the top of gully.
Well, an easy 4 ball for Mark Waugh, and the last ball 4 always annoys the captain and the bowler. Australia 3 for 151. Upper sleeve, but he's in that hitting mode. And he's striking the ball to the fence again.
Yeah, good shot off the back foot. He's just warming up a bit, is Kirtley yet. The ball's not quite firing out of his hand. Just putting it there. He needs something, a spark. It's a couple of overs warm up and then some spark to just get him ignited. Short of Lara, I think. Got the edge, good fielding. I don't think that carried to Lara, just on the half volley. Not the mistake from him. There it is, just in front.
Cracked away. He really put everything into that. Another boundary, so the boundaries really are rattling along here at Kensington.
Well, that's the usual Trini posse with the Trini beer. And that's just one guy's lot.
He's gone. Beautiful delivery. Magnificent ball from Ambrose, makes the breakthrough.
Well, that was an excellent delivery from Curly Ambrose. The crowd were probably wondering why he hadn't bowled in the first hour. Now he's on. Look at that delivery. Pitching just outside the off stump and straightening. No doubt about that. Mark Warder parts is 4 for 166 Australia. And Greg Blewett, pretty young in his career, and this is why he's there. Very good delivery from Colin Ambrose. Excellent line just outside the off stump. Mark Waugh had to play at that.
He's timed that very sweetly indeed. And this ball. Played well off his pads and off his legs from the word go.
Well, it's smart cricket by Steve Waugh, because Richie Richardson has given Kirtley Ambrose a very difficult field to bowl to. See, he's got right across his stumps and worked it on the onside.
Leaning forward, an appeal.
Well, I think this is hopeful. If you watch Courtney Walsh where he bowls from the crease, he's actually slanting the ball in, and he's going to struggle to get LBWs if the batsman gets forward. Usually the ball's slanting in and probably going down leg side all the time from the angle he bowls. Actually trapped on the back foot, it's a bit different.
Through, that's through everything. And Walsh hands on hip. What a testing time this is for Greg Blewett.
Well, you wonder how this got through, don't you? Blewett comes forward, that ball you see snaking into him all the time, even on the top of the thigh. But he's doing the right thing, is Greg Blewett. He's looking to get forward. Obviously, you don't make up your mind to play forward before the bowler bowls. That's a disaster. But you've got to have in your mind a plan when the ball's in the no man's area. Are you going to play forward or back? And he's looking to play forward. He's right. Shot.
Glorious shot. Richardson pursuit again. Won't get to that. That will give young Blewett a tremendous amount of confidence. Weathered the storm so far. It's much to his credit. It reveals a very good temperament.
Well, I like the fact that when he gets forward, he's got a good stride. He's a good young player. It's his stride. Beautifully play that to the quick bowler. A lot of batsmen are very tentative when the fast bowlers are bowling. And if the ball's up, you've still got to get forward.
And he's got that one away very fine. Rolled the wrist on top of it. It's a gorgeous shot for 4.
Well, you won't get a better chance to see a late cut than that. He just used the pace of the ball. Well, you're always looking for a few easy runs when Carl Hooper bowls. He's West Indies' lollipop bowler. I don't think he's bowled that well in the one-dayers. When he bowled, he had been getting a bit better and picking up 1 or 2 wickets, but at the moment, he doesn't seem to have the right flight and loop. In the one-dayers, I thought he bowled the wrong line a lot of the time and bowled poorly. When you get the quicks coming at you all the time, you're expecting to pick up a few easy runs off Hooper.
Period of consolidation for the Australians. Only 6 runs shy now. 6 wickets in hand. It's a priceless opportunity for them. So much depends on these two, Steve Waugh and Greg Blewett. And just bringing Sherwin Campbell in tight. That's characteristic of Greg Blewett. His packet was short, gave him enough space. He's not afraid to strike the ball. And he struck it very, very well indeed for 4. That's 4 for 193. That's a very, very poor shot before the adjournment, and he's paid the penalty. Paid the penalty. Magnificent bowling by Ambrose again. I think he defeated him mentally before that. A little bit shorter, attempted to pull him through mid-wicket. Off the glove. Junior Murray does the rest, and that's a critical breakthrough, and it's Ambrose again.
Well, it's an indiscreet shot, is this, really. Ambrose is not the easiest player for anybody to pull or hook. I know pull's his favourite shot, but just before lunch, well, it's a learning process, you could say, but I don't think the Australian dressing room will be too pleased with the type of shot that was played, never mind the fact that he got dismissed. 5 for 194.
Little wonder that it's Ambrose that has done the damage. He's been the nemesis of the Australians in recent years, and when finally employed today by Richie Richardson, he's done the job yet again for his captain. Healy just leans forward. 5 for 194.
Well, it's so difficult to pull is Curtly Ambrose because of his height. Coming down it, he doesn't have to bowl too short. I know it's Greg Blewett's favourite shot, but you see the steepling bounce there as it carries to Junior Murray. He's saying that it hit him on the arm. Well, may or may not have been, but you're not going to get much doubt in the umpires or the West Indian fielders' mind, because it looked a poor shot. It looked as he might have nicked it, and they've all gone up. Straight away he's motioning to the arm, but it's difficult to tell.
Diving full length to parry. Stephen Waugh hoiking that through. 5 for 196. That puts the Australians ahead. Brave attempt to stop the boundary. Not required to offer. That's lunch, as umpire Ben Katarakavan symbolically removes the bails.
Cracked away. That's a superb stroke.
Well, I don't think you'll see many better back foot shots than this. He did give him quite a bit of width and shortness. It was a loosener first ball, but still a very good shot.
So Steve Waugh gets his 50. For half century. 5 for 205. Well, reaching out somewhat for it, gets boundary down behind square. Not entirely convincing, but 4 all the same.
Yes, it just went wide enough of Gully not to give him any chance. You see, sliced off the outside of the face.
He's got that one away very comfortably for 4. He's been strong off his toes all day, off his pads.
Well, Courtney Walsh attempting a Yorker there. That ball drifting a bit down the leg side and not quite up as far as length is concerned.
That's brilliantly caught by Junior Murray. It's a brilliant catch, diving full length to his right. He's quite tall for a keeper. Steve Waugh reproaching himself. Magnificent piece of work by Junior Murray. The crowd go up. Junior Murray is delighted. A happy Grenadian if ever you seen one. Wonderful catch. Getting congratulated by Lara. Warm embrace from his skipper, a relieved skipper. The Trinidadian flags are waving. The conch shells are sounding. A magnificent breakthrough for the West Indies.
This is the wicket that the West Indies have been looking for quite some time. Kenny Benjamin eventually getting Steve Waugh to prod at a short delivery, and look at that man fly. A brilliant catch by Junior Murray. Even before he had gotten to his feet, he realized that he had taken a very good catch. It's 6 for 230 Australia.
Well, a very decisive breakthrough for the West Indies. And now Brendan Julian playing only his 3rd Test match. His first in the Caribbean and his first for nearly 2 years. Tremendous amount of responsibility now. 6 for 230. Australia just 35 runs in advance. Steve Waugh, who was the architect of the innings, has just fallen to an outstanding catch by Junior Murray.
Truly an outstanding catch. Steve Waugh making one of the few mistakes that he has made in this innings and paying for it. That ball certainly wouldn't have gotten to Brian Lara at first slip. Junior Murray had to come across in front of him and go for it. Did that decisively and took an excellent catch. I think this approach by Kenny Benjamin was more or less expected. 2 balls bowled to Brendan Julian, and both of them quite short. On that occasion, not too much bother. Ball slanting down the leg side.
Kenny wonders what might have been.
Brendan Julian's inexperience again, I would think, showing up here. 2 short balls, and then he sees a ball outside off stump and thinks, well, this is my opportunity to get back. I'll slap this for 4. Didn't quite move his body close enough to the line for him to hit it through the offside.
Had to readjust himself, but he did so.
Yes.
In fact, that's pretty sloppy by half of the West Indians, 6 for 237. I don't think Richie Richardson be all that pleased with Benjamin's use of the new cherry at the moment. Also, I think Michael would be quite disconcerted that Courtney Walsh has left the ground the very moment the new ball has become available. Certainly will be hoping that there's nothing seriously amiss. Lovely work from Chandapal. And judging by the reaction, there's a lot of Indians in the crowd and a lot who are very sympathetic, perhaps to his claims to being in the 11. Rousing reception for the young man, particularly from the Kensington stand.
Was good work by Chandapal, Mike, but I still maintain that you need to have at least 3 slips in that position down there. Excellent work. Could so easily have gone into the boundary. But with Brendan Julian on strike and a brand new ball, I think there should have been 3 slips in place.
Michael, is it fair to say he has seemed distracted all day? Is something amiss with Richie?
I haven't got a clue, Mike. I hope not. Because he looks physically able. He looks, just looking at him, he looks as if everything is fine. But as you said, he seems to be a little bit distracted at times.
That, I think, hit Brendan Julian flush on the toe. He's not too well, Brendan Julian.
Yeah.
Lovely shot through the onside. Very special place for Ian Healy, mid-wicket. The spinners there in the air, but also his unusual grip. He's able to force the ball through the onside like that. And it comes for 3. Every run precious for Australia. Those 4 wickets in each squeeze about 20 each out of themselves. Give the Australians 120, 130 lead. Well, Mark Taylor would be well pleased.
Well, that's just a wild swing. I'm all for tail-enders playing a few shots. Look where his feet are. He just stuck there and just flails at it. I think there's a better chance of hitting it if he puts his foot to the pitch of the ball. I'm sure that's what his coach has taught him in Australia. A very good coaching setup of all the states in Australia. That's where I think you have to bowl at Brendan Julian, outside off stump. Seems very loose there.
no mid-off. The man's at cover. So any bat on ball and reasonably straight is going to score runs for Julian.
Yes, I thought so. Richie Richardson, he'd left mid-off and he'd gone to backward square. He's now coming back to the mid-off position. I think that's right. I think the bowlers do need some protection in this area of mid-off. And on the offside there, you see Richie's coming to mid-off. And also on the onside at mid-on. A lot of runs have gone through the mid-on area and mid-off when they haven't had a man there. Mid-on he's got Courtney Walsh, but so often there's been nobody fielding here, and there've been easy pushes, inside edges, all sorts have gone through that area. And I think on this particular pitch and in this particular situation with the West Indies' small first innings score, that they really do a lot of the time need a mid-off and a mid-on. You can't afford to be over-attacking.
End of the over, Australia 6 for 248. That lack of a mid-on again proving costly to the West Indies. I dare suggest, Jeffrey, that it's probably been 20 to 25 runs now through that vacant mid-on position, and you have to be a wonderful bowler to get away with that.
It isn't. It isn't even a shot that's hit in the middle of the bat with timing. It only trickled off about 45 yards. It was a miss hit, really. But because there's nobody in that vacant area, well, he's probably an Australian, he's pleased.
Brilliant shot that by Brendan Julian. Oh, well pitched up. Did everything right. Well, I said everything right. Make that almost everything right. But not quite getting anywhere close to the line of the ball, but at least the bat flowed through. And it ended up a pretty good shot, 4 runs.
And there's another run picked up. Really do it very expertly. Just dabbed on the onside, and really in the end, no gamble, just a good, quick run. No danger for them whatever.
Bit more toing and froing out there. Winston Benjamin in consultation with his captain, making a few minor adjustments. Very good partnership by these two so far.
Well, that's a typical Brendan Julian stroke. We've seen it so far, I would say 3 times in the innings, where he just puts the left leg forward and swings through with the bat.
Not looking as attractive as his previous cover drive, but the end result is 4 runs for Brendan Julian and Australia. Ball just peeling off the outer half of the bat. That Bradman bat.
And that's another one. So if we keep on bowling it there, Brendan Julian will keep on hitting it there.
Well, this was a much better shot. Left leg coming right out. Bat flowing through the line. Well executed.
It's over his head. Healy doing very much like what Cooper did yesterday, taking on the spin.
Good shot that by Ian Healy. The ball was well up to him. Of course, Carl Hooper not a very big spin on the ball, and he just played through the line.
So this is a very useful 50 partnership between the two coming up. They've now put on 49 at a crucial time in the innings. Six for 230. You still felt the match was on an even keel. And now it's certainly tilting again towards Australia.
The West Indian captain has a few problems now. This lead for Australia slowly building. Still have 4 wickets in hand. Brendan Julian, who perhaps was considered a part of the tail, has been batting quite well with Ian Healy. Very good partnership. 92 runs already the lead.
Correspondents have come from Australia, of course the Caribbean, a lot of Englishmen here as well. West Indies touring England during the summer, so they've shown great interest in the series. Whether it has anything to do with the fact that the temperature in London yesterday was 8 degrees and it's something like 30 degrees here in Barbados, I'm not altogether certain. The ball goes towards the boundary. Richardson has stopped it. Umpire Barker will ask whether the ball did touch the rope, and Richardson says that it didn't.
I think this is a very close call here. He steps on the ball. Yes, it did hit the rope. But as you can see there, Richie can't see that. He's almost into the fence. But I think he should have realized it when he came back to pick the ball up. So the ball definitely did go into the rope on that occasion.
Of course, in South Africa, they're now using the television replays for incidents such as those. On edge, but well short. And that is the end of the over, and that is the end of play before tea. So at tea, Australia building a commanding position here in the first test. They're 6 for 290.
Well, back in the commentary box as Carl Hooper is about to resume by bowling to Brendan Julian. We have Michael Cowd, and with him one of Joel Garner's fast bowling great partners, Mike Holding.
Thank you, David. The flippant captain of South Australia in summers gone, the flippant captain of Joel Garner. Be easy or difficult to captain the bird, Michael?
That's out. Kenny Benjamin at last taking a catch there, Mike. Everybody running towards him. I probably think it's one of those things that you won't see too often. But Kenny Benjamin quite comfortable getting behind the line of that ball and taking a very good catch.
Hooper, Julian just relieved, I think, straight after tea. Lack of concentration. Straight to Kenneth Benjamin at 7 for 290.
Ball rifle now taking Brendan Julian's place. And there we see it. 290 on the board.
Julian has gone, and that is a blow. Australia still leading by 95. Every run now precious. Paul Rifle. No slouch either with the bat is Paul Rifle.
And this is the end of Brendan Julian.
Bowled him. Benjamin has struck. Exactly what the Australians have feared. But at the tail they can't resist. The West Indian fast bowlers. Benjamin has struck. Rifle has gone.
As I said, the West Indian supporters seemed to sense that there was a possibility of the lower order collapsing. And this was a very good delivery from Benjamin. Did quite a lot. Actually came back off the pad of power rifle from outside off stump. It's 8 for 291 Australia.
And so it'll be Shane Warne now. This is exactly what the Australians discussed at their team meeting. They feared there could be no resistance at the depth. They'll have to hurry. Does so. The throw on the turn is not as it could have been. And this is an important time for the Australians. Every run is so precious.
And this is the end of Paul Rifle. That ball hit off stump, but it did enough perhaps to hit leg stump or possibly even miss the leg stump. But Paul Rifle's pads got in the way and deflected it back onto the off stump.
That's a very characteristic of Healy, uncharacteristic of Walsh, and that's 4. There he goes again. Ambrose has a chance. Just couldn't get to it. Not even with his reach. He's shaking his head. Might have just got the tip of his fingers to it. Even with his reach. He's cursing himself.
Not too sure that Kirtley really judged this properly. Just touched his left hand. And running back towards the Kensington stand like that, I'm sure he wasn't exactly too sure of where he was.
Running into shadow too, Michael, which is awkward. There he is in.
Yes, and whenever you're running towards that Kensington stand, I just noticed there it's a small wall that you're running towards, and if you're not sure how close you are to that wall, it's always very difficult keeping your eyes on the ball. Obviously you can't be too sure how close you are. I think that was Curtis' problem there. Didn't want to keep on sprinting towards the stand, and at the same time keeping his eyes on the ball, trying to take the catch.
He's timed that well, he's placed it well. It's 4 all the way. Picks that one up, places it perfectly between the two outfieldsmen. Ambrose wants to cross, and that's 4. And every run is precious, Michael.
Definitely so. And he really struck that one beautifully. 2 men out on the onside on the boundary behind square and a straight mid-wicket.
He's done. This is over the top. That is 6. And this is very loose bowling by Hooper. Very controlled hitting by Healy. And another 50 for Healy. Waving of the flag. He's always one who's inspired by the flag. Inspired by the baggy green. His 16th 50 in Test match cricket. Of course, he's got 200s.
Yep. Yes, got it. Bubbles.
Good work by Sherwin Campbell. Glorious drive from Healy. He doesn't have to run for that, he knows that. Down amongst the shooters. And that's 4. That's been pointed out quite emphatically by the Australian supporters.
Well, Ian Healy certainly is in very good form. That was a good drive. Ball right up, left foot coming forward, full flow of the bat through the line of the ball. Nothing wrong with that at all. Straight back down the wicket.
Up in the air, that's safe. Over Richardson's head. Thinking of 3, they'll need to hurry. No, they won't. As Richardson went after it, nearly apologetically. No attempt to return to try and pressure the Australians batsman. Just rolled it back, which would suggest that his right shoulder is not in sufficient order for him to throw. Perhaps Healy assessed that. It's characteristic of Healy. He gathers a lot of runs in that area. Just what Richardson. That is pretty depressing cricket for these. Hit him. Warren this time has been hit. So they're wearing a few, Michael.
I think Courtney Walsh realizes that Shane Warne doesn't really handle the short ball too well. And there we saw him again, taking his eyes off the ball. That ball was short, but it didn't bounce that high at all. He could have just stood his ground and get behind the line of it and dropped it down by his toes. Apparently, once he sees that it's short, he just ducks and takes his eyes off it. That can be dangerous.
And got him. Beautifully bowled by Walsh. Set it up. Perhaps only a matter of time, but it still has to be accomplished. And Walsh, the crafty old pro, has done it. Nominated by Michael Holding, Walsh has assessed the weakness. Walsh was good enough to exploit it.
Again, here we see Shane Warne taking his eyes off the ball. Right off the glove into the laps of Jimmy Adams. Shane Warne departs. Australia lose their 9th wicket at 3-3-1.
Glenn McGrath has got no credentials as a batsman. Courtney Walsh. How beautifully that was bowled. Sweat and strain all day.
And Courtney Walsh, as we just saw, got that last wicket of Shane Warne. Shane Warne again taking his eyes off the ball and just punching it into Jimmy Adams' lap. Simple catch, well taken. End of the story.
This is remarkable. He's taken that off his toes, I think by design too, Michael.
Yes, I think McGrath is trying to say something here, Mike. We have all been saying that he has no ability with the bat. Well, that certainly was a pretty good shot.
Field all over the place, and this is the part of a cricket match that a lot of people just don't understand. It's here's a team with a big first innings advantage and really giving away runs, but of course they're doing it with a purpose. In the air, over the head of the fielder, gone. Magnificent stroke.
terrific shot by Ian Healy, just drifting into him on his pads, flicked it away, did it on the up. In smaller grounds in some place of the West Indies, it's easier to hit the sixers. You don't want to be giving him this opportunity. These are vital and valuable runs that have been got.
Somehow he managed to get that away, gets it before. Walsh looking to keep him on the strike. Well, he's done that, but he certainly didn't want to give away the boundary.
There you are. It's as simple as that, isn't it? If you can't bat, why ball wide? Ball straight, knock the balls out of the ground, and that's the end of that. You don't need the umpire, you don't need Lloyd Barker or anybody, he's gone. Well done, Winston Benjamin.
So the end of the innings, but I'm sure that Ian Healy is going to get a great reception from his teammates, from the Australians on the ground, and I dare say from those West Indians who know this game so well.
What a difference the tail can.
So West Indies get off the mark with a no ball. Venkatragavan. The umpires, of course, having changed ends, as they do after the first 2 innings of a match.
Well, he's only medium pace, Paul rifle, but a little bit of bounce again. Just the no ball there, but he had a little bit of bounce from that medium pace. That's what got Sherwin Campbell out in the first innings.
Deficit 151. West Indies really need a very big total in their second innings. Challenge the Australians. Have to bat last. Conditions on the last day, the pitch may just be keeping a little bit lower, it'll be more worn. Rifle just not finding his line. Rifle hasn't found his target here yet. Just the one delivery which came onto the thigh pad, and that was a no ball. Generally speaking, he's been very wide of the off stump. End of the first over of the innings. West Indies have got one no ball. Duck in his first test before his home crowd in the West Indies, and of course his home crowd here at Kensington Oval.
Well, the best way to rectify that is to get 100. It's happened many times before. People have made 100 after making naught in the first innings. He's got to get off the mark first.
And he does so. So that'll make him feel a lot better. And also makes the crowd feel a lot better. Sherwin Campbell, the single.
The rifle deceptively sharp when he wants to be. And a very good bouncer.
One really climbed on him. It's a little bit similar to the way he got out in the first innings, where he just left his hands up there, and his hands are pretty high there, so he'll have to watch that.
Shane Warne coming on early, came on in the 12th over in the first innings, but with just scheduled 8 overs remaining. Shane Warne coming on now. 7 overs have been bowled. interesting time for you, Tim May. Spin vision will come into vogue, and Tim May will describe the deliveries. Well, a genuine appeal from Warne, the ball going straight on.
Now, I think that one was supposed to turn, but it just kept on going. These things happen.
One of the problems, Tim, I think, with a leg break bowler in particular, who's got a variety of deliveries, is that he knows exactly what he's trying to do, and when it gets to the other end, he knows what it's supposed to do. The umpire, of course, really has a difficult task. Some turn, some don't, and he can't make the assessment as to whether it's going to be the wrong one or the flipper or whatever it may have been.
Again, you see Shane, they're coming right over the top. As does happen if you come on early, with, especially with the cricket balls that we use over here, that the ball tends, it's fairly hard to grip early in the innings, and the ball doesn't tend to grip on the pitch as much as it would later on.
Seems to me, Tim, that the times that you have bowled or that Shane Warne's bowled in Australia with a new ball for whatever reason, the ball does bite and turn. The seams in Australia on the Kookaburra balls are quite big. What are the seams on these balls?
The seams on these balls are big. It's almost rope-like, but the pitches are so hard and the outfield's so hard, I think sort of after about 2 overs, it just basically gets embedded into the leather, and whilst you can see the seam, there's not much to play with.
Ball, Shane.
End of a Shane Warne over, none for 6. Spoon shot in the air for a long way. And he bounced a couple of times in front of Paul Rifle.
Again, you see it's just the normal stock leg spinner, but the problem that the batsman had to confront there is the ball pitched in those footmarks, and when it goes in those footmarks, the ball can jump dangerously.
What was that? Minute time. Come on.
Talk about those footmarks from that first delivery, Tim.
You can see here that the ball just catches the fringe of those footmarks.
McGrath, good competitor. Interesting bowler. Still gaining in confidence. Still convincing himself that he's good enough to play at this level consistently. Very affable young man. Very focused fast bowler. Plays down the line. It's no wicket for 8. just driven that beautifully. Rifle will have to hurry. It does in the end. Just a little bit lax there, the Australians, late in the day. No support for McGrath at the stumps. Boone reacted a little bit later. Should have got up there to support. Blewett would have backed him. It was McGrath that had to do the work himself. And an error around the corner. Blewett trying to stop the single. Didn't achieve. Julian to support. One off. And at the end of the day, it's no wicket for 13.
And the score has moved on to 15 without loss.
We played that late, Williams, and played it well. Played it very late. Mightn't have got it quite as he liked, but he played it with control. No wicket for 19. And he's gone. He's gone. Took it hard in the chest. He parried it, controlled it. Very loose shot. It was short enough to pull. War took it at the first time. Couldn't quite control it. Sitting back. Kept his eyes on it all the way. Has taken the catch. A critical breakthrough. Campbell is gone.
I think Sherwin Campbell might be cursing his luck, because that was a shot, a rank long hop that could have been hit anywhere. He chose to hit it straight to Steve Waugh, and of course, no doubt about that catch this time. Very well caught there. It's 1 for 19 with the West Indies.
And so it's Brian Lara who has to do it again, just as he did in the first innings. And he played with such style and panache and that thrilling partnership with Carl Hooper. He's in a lot earlier than Richie Richardson wanted him. There it is, short enough to pull. Waugh came quickly. Waugh parried and then held at the second attempt. His eyes on it all the way, and you can see a good camera work, that sense of relief. He just rolls his eyes, that sense of relief that he held onto it. Now encouraging Warne to continue.
Start, Warney.
Healy endorses the first delivery. The question now, of course, is that one would imagine that the West Indies will have to play Warne a lot differently than was the case in the first innings. The appeal. Not out, says Lloyd Barker. Very confusing. He moved his hand. He's made a gesture. There's a mixture of boos and jeers. There's confusion within the Australian camp. He shouldered arms. The ball's deflected, bat pad. The Australians were up.
A lot of that confusion, I think, was caused by, as you said, Mike, umpire Barker moving his hand from behind his back and bringing it in front of him. And we saw Brian Lara shouldering arms, seemingly getting his bat out of the way. That shake of the hand is not quite necessary for an umpire to do.
He's off the mark. The question is, Michael, what was that indication? I mean, was he waving to an aunt in the crowd, or, I mean, did he lose his concentration?
That I'm not too sure about, because it's never usually quite necessary for an umpire to be making any sort of signal like that. If somebody appeals and you don't think it's out, the most you normally do is just shake your head.
Short. Hooked it away. Early sighter. Inside it. Executed it beautifully.
Well, if that was a planned delivery to Brian Lara, all well and good, but if that was a deliberate ball that Brian Lara, because of what happened in the previous over, I don't think McGrath needs to be doing anything like that. He needs to get control of himself and do his job.
Well, certainly the crowd are as confused as the competitors. There's some very animated discussion at the end of that over. Certainly Healy, the vice-captain, Australian vice-captain, had a long yarn with Lloyd Barker. It's always serious, Michael, if an umpire loses the confidence of the competitors.
Shane Warne still not too convinced about what happened. I'm going to have another good look at this, because I'm still convinced that Brian Lara got everything behind him before the ball got there. There you see the ball is a long way away from either bat or glove. Nowhere near either.
Bill for a catch behind, he's gone. McGrath has struck. And so the West Indies young openers have failed again. Williams going, Port Murray, Port Healy, old McGrath. A lack of discipline at the top. And joy for the Australians.
Lack of discipline, definitely. That was not a ball to be playing that type of a shot at. Ball bounced appreciably just outside off stump. Short William goes, it's 2 for 25, the West Indies.
And so Hooper been promoted in the order ahead of Richie Richardson, who is out of touch. And as we've said repeatedly, seemingly distracted over the first 2 days. And in this crisis, the room has decided to use Carl Hooper, who batted so well in association with Brian Lara in the first innings.
And this is why Carl Hooper has to be coming to the crease quite early. That microphone in the ground really telling the story there. You could hear the distinct nick.
Played and beaten. Beautifully bowled by McGrath.
That was an excellent delivery from McGrath. That's what he should be concentrating on. Pitching the ball pretty much in line with the stumps and getting it to go across the body. Excellent delivery.
And Lara's edged McGrath, caught behind, across the body. And Brian Lara has gone. The man that the Australians fear most has played across the line fractionally. And McGrath, as Jeffrey Boycott said, that skidding action, just a bit of extra across the bat of Lara, and Ian Healy did the rest. Richie Richardson, the West Indian captain, comes in as we welcome back the pictures. We just lost momentarily, and this is the Lara dismissal.
Yeah, good delivery. He's pitching on, maybe about leg and middle, going across him. Perfectly bowled, making him play, and he's earned that a bit. He's bowled pretty well this morning.
Last night it was 15 overs for 13, and well, the runs per over didn't really count last night. They had to go in without losing a wicket. They achieved that, but unfortunately this morning for the West Indies, they have lost 3 wickets in less than an hour. Well, the 2-men are up as we suggested, and that's what Shane Warne tried to entice from Hooper. But don't think he'd be too disappointed, Jeffrey.
No, I think that's fair cricket. I mean, from the Australians' point of view, they're really in the box seat. You could say it's a good shot from Hooper over the top. Clears mid-off by quite a way, and that's the way he plays. But they've got mid-off and mid-on sort of just back about 6 or 7, 8 yards. They haven't got them pretty deep. They're going to give Hooper the chance to go over the top, and if he misses it, he'll get out.
I didn't see the bail fall, but obviously off the gloves or pads of Ian Healy. His matching intention's pretty clear. Well, it's a good hit from Hooper. It's made clear the fence it has. Bringing the two men up has achieved exactly what Shane Warne wanted. Hooper hitting over the top. Ian Healy, in fact, has wandered down from his position to have a chat to Shane Warne. And well, that's what he wanted, Jeffrey, and he got the result.
Yeah, I think, actually, if I was Ian Healy, he's probably saying, yeah, but why don't you bowl at leg stump at him and see if he can go over mid-on? Because he's hitting that shot, is Carl Hooper, with the spin going to the off, so he's hitting it inside out, over mid-off.
Well, Richie's decided to have a dash at that as well. And, that's what he tried to do in the first innings. It was out caught behind. And got enough bat on that to get it over gully.
Is this a one-day game? Are they trying to knock that 151 off before lunch, or what?
That's the shot they're enticing, and he's hit it beautifully on this occasion. Glenn McGrath can't move 6 or 7 metres to his left to stop it. And a calm shot. 3 for 52.
With this attack, it's certainly not all-out pace, but there is so much variety in it, where you have Julian, tall, left arm, over the wicket, mainly slanting the ball across the batsman. Paul Rifle, who is basically a swing and cut bowler at just about fast medium, and Glenn McGrath, who is quite slippery, with a nice high action. He's gone. Hooper has hit the catch to mid-off. The West Indies have lost their 4th wicket for 57 and are really in further trouble.
That's good rewards for Brendan Julian, bowling just an impeccable line and length, and beating Hooper outside the off stump a couple of occasions. And there Hooper was determined to get bat on ball. He did so, but wasn't able to keep it on the ground. I think frustration got the better of him on that occasion.
So he goes, caught in at mid-off by Paul Rifle, and the West Indies, with a deficit of 151, find themselves 4 down for 57. New batsman is Jimmy Adams, the last of the specialists. After him, there's the keeper Murray, and then the 4 fast bowlers. And a big job now for a very reliable batsman. The batsman in international cricket now with the highest test average. He's averaging over 80. And he comes to join his captain, Richie Richardson. It's a novel idea. I wonder if they're renting that area. Typical Richardson stroke. That's a stroke which Richardson has played so often during his long career.
Not unlike the shot he was dismissed on in the first innings, however, Tony, and I don't think Mark Taylor will be terribly upset about seeing that just at the moment.
Well, that's a glorious stroke. It's 4 from the time it left the bat.
I don't think Mark Waugh was terribly impressed by matters at the moment here either. In there at short mid-off. Very dangerous.
Lovely way to get off the mark. A boundary to Richard to Adams.
That was a beautiful shot, just backward a point. I should say, Tony, when I say Brisbane's still celebrating, of course all of Queensland's still celebrating. Yeah, Sheffield Shield win. And it's hard not to be excited just talking about it still.
A warning from umpire Venkatraghavan for Brendan Julian running on a part of the pitch where he is debarred. There's a little bit of discussion between himself and Julian, the bowler. First warning, he signals to umpire Barker over at square leg.
You can see the white marks either side of the stumps, and that's the guide for the umpires. And once the bowler gets inside those lines end to end, those marks, either side of the stumps, that's when he decides it's time to talk to the bowler and say, would you mind getting off the wicket a little more? And Brendan is arguing that he doesn't think he's inside the zone in any case, and making the point strongly before.
Our information here is that he does have that problem. His left arm, he's over. And so many left-arm bowlers do have that problem running on the pitch. Not that it will have that much effect here, because for the right-handed batsman, he is in fact running through outside that off stump. Good save. Again, typifying how good the Australians have been in saving runs and taking catches in the field, and a very good save by Warren in the slips. 4 for 75 at the end of the over.
That is Richie Richardson at his best. Having been distracted for a couple of days, he seems very focused today, Michael.
Well, that certainly was the Richie Richardson that everybody knows. He is so good on the short deliveries. Short outside the off stump, short in line with his body. Doesn't matter. Once it's short, he's very good at those attacking shots. Cutting, pulling, hooking. McGrath had better learn quickly that he needs to pitch the ball up a bit more to Richie Richardson. But of course, Richie will be happy with him bowling on that lane.
Not quite as cleanly this time, and Slater's equal to the task.
It's Michael Slater out there on the point region.
More. McGrath's body language is making an observation. Richardson's observations are a little more convincing.
This ball went in the air for some time. You can see there the ball flew off the face of the bat again. No edge at all. off the face of the bat. Richie Richardson placing that between third slip and gully.
Changed his mind there in the end, was withdrawing. It's come off the face. It was safe. It's through the cordon for 3.
Well, that certainly was very good running by Richie Richardson in particular, pushing Jimmy Adams and getting those 3 runs. Paul Rifle, as we said before, does have the ability to leave the left hand, and Jimmy Adams, seeing the ball hitting the pitch and deviating away from him, tried to get the bat out of the way. The ball just hitting the toe of the bat. And that's Richie Richardson's test career. Excellent test career, averaging in the middle 40s. And over a test match career of 77 test matches, that's excellent.
An appeal, optimistic. Umpire Barker says no. On this occasion said no a little more conventionally, to the relief of all.
That ball certainly was heading for the stump, but as you see here, Richie Richardson gets that left leg rather just outside the line of off stump when he gets hit. And he is offering a stroke, so not much chance of him being given out LBW.
Just short, I think. McGrath. Warner's been excellent today. Saying perhaps he grabbed a little but just couldn't reach it. Just in front of him. He's been in good form today.
I think he would have needed to come forward for that catch, because it certainly was falling short of his hands.
Last over before the adjournment, and what an eventful morning it's been. After the young openers were defeated, so too were Lara and Hooper. Oh, he's bowled him. He's bowled him. In the last over before lunch. What a remarkable moment. He hit around that, and a 5th wicket has fallen, the Australian flag fluttering. How proud. And Australia now within reach of a famous victory, their first at Kensington, and within 3 days. Richardson, the last of the recognised batsmen, the specialist, the captain of the side, bowled by Rifle.
Rifle does get the ball to come in quite appreciably to the right-handers, and look at that delivery. Pitching outside off stump, came in a long way. Hit off stump eventually, but it actually hit the pad of Richie Richardson, and which straightened it a bit, brought it back onto the off stump. Very good delivery from Paul Rifle. West Indies in dire straits. It's 5 for 91.
Was in for the kill.
Nicely played off the hip, down towards the boundary. Plenty of empty spaces out there. So Paul Rifle just drifting a little bit in line, and Adams putting him away. So the West Indies at least have got 100 on the board.
Shortish boundaries, and once you bowl straight to a 7-2 field, then you've no protection for the bowler.
The man there, Ian Healy, the Australian top scorer yesterday, with a very significant 74 not out. Good drive. Gets him off the mark.
Well, he's tempting him, is McGrath. Really intelligent bowling. He did that about an over ago. But the feet do not move, you see. There's just a little shuffle there of the feet. He's miles away from the ball. Get that foot to the pitch of the ball. It's right up there. He could have almost trodden on this ball. But look where the foot is. It's a foot and a half away from the pitch. Just a careless swipe at it. That's better. No need to run for that. That's a top shot. Another pitched up ball, tempting him again, and Junior Murray this time got the foot right to the pitch. Once you get the foot there, it's easy to get the bat to come into contact with the ball. It's feet movement batting's all about.
Well, there's 2 men out for the hook shot, but played it very well. Did Murray, got it straight down to the ground and it just rolled down to fine leg.
Murray always willing to take on the fast bowlers when they do bang it in short, and because he has a fairly open stance, he doesn't really have to rock around that far when he's playing the hook shot.
Just over leg stump. That's why Ken McGrath has reacted like that. Jimmy Adams just falling across his stumps, and fortunately the bounce saved him there, Michael.
Yes, that wasn't very far from the leg stump at all. As we saw there, Jimmy Adams ended up well outside his off stump after playing the shot. And that has happened to him before in the past. And in the meantime, Brendan Julian, who bowled so well this morning, 7 overs for just 14 runs with that 1 wicket, is coming back into the attack.
Shot from Murray. Very strong man. It's not a free-flowing cover drive like you see from a classical cover drive. It seems to be a lot of hard work to get to the position of the bat hitting the ball, but he's such a strong man. He places it, it's 4.
And that's the situation at the moment. Just 25 more runs the West Indies need to make before Australia have to bat again. They have 5 wickets in hand. Not too much batting to come after these 2. But Australia certainly don't need the West Indies to be making too many more than the 25.
It's punched it through the covers again. Once again, not the classical cover drive, but equally as effective when it hits the fence.
Well, Junior Murray's cover drive, as I said, David, is not really classical because that left leg doesn't come across. As you see there, that left leg was a long way away from the line of the ball, from where the ball pitched. But he does get the bat on ball when it's pitched up to him. And it looks good in the end.
Having pulled out the hook shot. And the diving Warren at square leg can't prevent it.
Jimmy Adams had been moving across his stumps and trying to get that right leg of his forward on most occasions. And I think Brendan Julian decided that, well, you're trying to come forward, I'm going to push you back with a shorter delivery.
Ball, Shane.
We'll just have a look at Shane Warne just before he starts his over. Now, I'm not sure the difference between Shane Warne doing that and Michael Atherton being accused of having some dirt in his pocket. Shane Warne's palm of his hand would be wet with perspiration.
Great bowling.
And when he does that, puts his hand in the dirt, then of course the dirt just like that comes up into his palm. And I guess it says put it in your pocket, Michael.
I don't think I can quite agree with that principle at all, David. Actually, he's putting the dirt on his hand. Eventually, some of it will get on the ball.
A chance here. Moore running the wrong way. Great catch. Stephen Moore. Great catch, Stephen Moore. And, well, what a breakthrough for Australia. Murray has gone.
A very good wicket this for Australia. Jimmy Adams and Junior Morris seem to be just about doing a good job here for the West Indies. But the Waugh brothers, both Steve and Mark, are very, very good catches. And just take a look at this catch. Excellent. Ball coming over your shoulders. Very difficult to be running away. The ball coming over your shoulder and just still maintain your poise and take a catch like that. 6 for 136 West Indies.
You're watching Sky Sport.
Winston Benjamin comes in. The West Indies still needing 16 to make Australia bat for the second time. Winston Benjamin has come in with the West Indies 16 runs short.
And this is why he's there. Junior Murray attempting to hit against the spin. And it doesn't matter how many times you see this, it will still look to be an excellent catch. Brilliant.
Got it.
The man that Australia will desperately love out, Adams, but he's not out. It's Murray, as Michael said, against the spin, Michael, always a dangerous ploy.
Lee was a happy man when he felt that in his hands.
So Taylor's had his fair share of challenges as a leader, particularly outside the country. Of course, it's only his second series outside his country as captain, and what a moment this will be for him. All the captains who preceded him here, the Simpsons, the Ian Johnsons, the Kim Hugheses. A very emphatic offering that from Benjamin.
Well, that's a good strike, and that's one of his favourite areas. But I don't think Shane Warne will be too bothered about that. I think he's going to bowl in that leg stump area. Give Winston a chance to hit across the spin. If he hits it good, like this, so be it. So I think he'd get it a little bit more outside leg stump into the rough areas, the rough patches.
Showing himself to be more than a slogger. Fancies himself as the stylist and just takes it off, and the Kensington stand enjoys that. The scores are level, of course. The bottom line is, of course, that the only 4 wickets left.
Yeah, I don't know what they're all jumping up and down and shouting for. Only got 4 wickets left. They haven't got a run on the board yet.
He's taken that pretty neatly off his pads. Julian's reaction would suggest there was a little bit of chance in it, but it looked pretty clean to me, Jeffrey.
Yeah, he's a good player off his legs. He's a very wristy player when he gets a chance to whip it off his pads. You see the wrist come into it. He has lovely loose wrist. He turns the hands very quickly. He likes it on his legs. He's very vulnerable early on outside off stump. I think that's where you've got to really bowl at him. He might hit you once or twice, but there's a great chance of getting him out if you let him flail outside off stump.
Just in front.
You see that loose wristed way that he plays the ball off his pads. He's not so good when the ball's off stump and outside, and he's very loose wristed. He sort of flails at the ball, a little push and too much wrist.
That's a bold move to McGrath. Julian puts his hands on his knees in frustration, but McGrath was the right thing to do. He was committed to it. The run-out chance was there at 6 for 158. McGrath half-volleyed it nicely, the underarm. He would have been safe, but it would have been close.
Not like that. I mean, that's a wide long off. I mean, that wants whacking before, and it got whacked before. You really want to be using your surprise asset by bowling it dead straight. So if he gets it wrong, the batsman, you get a wicket. I mean, that's a bit of rubbish, isn't it? It's one of the few balls he's bowled. It's a bit of rubbish. The one he hit in, it got whacked.
Leg before. So McGrath gets another wicket. West Indies have lost their 7th. And Winston Benjamin's quite aggressive innings comes to an end.
Well, that's just what McGrath had been looking for. And another very good delivery. Ball pitching and cutting back sharply in towards the right-handed batsman. That ball hit him before his bat could come down, and as you can see there, hit him very much in line with the stumps. It's 7 for 170, West Indies.
So Curtly Ambrose comes in. And remember his little confrontation in the first innings with McGrath. Winston Benjamin out to this delivery.
Definitely no doubt about that at all. Obviously hit plumb in front. That left leg not coming a long way forward.
Digging it out well. He has got a half-century in Test cricket before, and in fact, a half-century was made against England when the West Indies were in some difficulty in Trinidad some years ago. If he can do what Winston Benjamin has done, just give the West Indies 20 or 30, would be helpful. Well, one fast bowler clouding another down through mid-wicket. It certainly gives one great satisfaction. The other, sheer frustration.
Did produce an excellent delivery to Brian Lara earlier on this morning, pitching in line with the stumps and going right across his body. Apparently his captain now wants him to go around the wicket to Curtly Ambrose and concentrate on pitching just outside the off stump. Let's see if he'll still be trying to carry it away or bring it back in to the left-hander.
He's out, straight into the lap of the mid-on fielder. West Indies have lost their 8th wicket for 178. So Ambrose's little innings finishes and McGrath gets him once more.
Well, we know Ambrose is batting at number 9, not considered to be one of the front-line batsmen for the West Indies, but that was an irresponsible shot. No need for that at all. His job should have been to try and stay with Jimmy Adams. It's 8 for 176 West Indies.
New batsman is Courtney Walsh, comes in with an almost hopeless position now. So McGrath now to the new batsman, Walsh. It's going to be very difficult for the adjudicator for the man of the match award. So many of the Australians are in there with chances. This man must have one. He's lofted that over the top, and it's got enough carry on it that it will go all the way to the ropes. Typical Courtney Walsh stroke. Got out to that similar stroke in the first innings, but it was off the leg spinner of Shane Warne. The ball went right up in the air. This time it went for four. That's the end of it. Huge swipe. So the West Indies in no mood here to extend the match any further. With Kenny Benjamin to come, 9 down.
I'm not too sure what the plan is for this West Indies lower order. Again, here we see a big wind-up, big heave-ho, missed completely, and the stump shattered. It's 9 for 180, the West Indies. Well, the new batsman, Kenny Benjamin. The new and the last.
Here's Warne now to Adams. Very, very close to those stumps. Ball trickling back between his legs. Didn't seem to recognize the danger.
This ball was well wide again of off stump. Pitching in the rough, spinning a bit. Jimmy Adams probably thought he had covered it, but it just trickled past the leg stump.
Adams has decided here that it's not much sense trying to shield the last man. West Indies are here ahead by 30. And there's plenty of time this afternoon to finish this match with 2 days remaining. And this really is going to be quite a stunning loss for the West Indies. Perhaps it will be a stinging one as well for the players. 3 test matches to come. The next one starts in Antigua on Saturday. And there will be a lot of thinking to be done between now and then.
with that shot from Kenny Benjamin, I think he probably took his cue from this shot from Courtney Walsh. Stumps completely shattered.
So Benjamin gets off with one off the top edge. Michael Slater there will be opening the batting when Australia's turn comes for the second time. And Mark Taylor, the captain. Just time enough to get a nice little 15 or so with a star against it.
He's up.
And as everything crumbles around him, Jimmy Adams soldiers on. Came in at number 6 in this test match after being so successful at number 4. Been there a long time. 160 minutes for his 37 runs.
End of the over, 9 for 183. Full toss.
Thinking now. Bring it up.
So 3 to Kenny Benjamin. West Indies lead just pushing on. But he's a tall man, Glenn McGraw. He uses his height to full advantage. You've seen him bowl with a bit of pace here, and certainly he's got bounce. It's been an impressive performance by him. End of the over. And just to ensure that Benjamin is kept on strike, he bowls a lob bouncer over the head of Adams. It's been a typical Jimmy Adams innings here in a crisis. He really thrives on crisis situations. So often in his career he's been the solid rock around which the West Indies have built their innings. Kenny Benjamin, number 11 here, got his top score in Test cricket on this ground last year against England. And he got 40 odd. And won some money off Jeffrey Boycott on that occasion. And he hasn't scored, I don't think, 40 runs in all of his Test innings since then. That's the end of the innings. Bowled all over the shop. Shane Warne gets his 3rd wicket. Jimmy Adams, not for the first time, is left high and dry on 39. And Australia will have to get 40 runs to win the match. Correction on that figure. That dismissal means that Australia will have 39 to win the match. 39 to win. End of the innings there. flipper, the straight ball coming quickly through and right through the defence of Kenny Benjamin.
Kenny Benjamin certainly should have been at least trying to get forward to that delivery. Was completely deceived.
Now Mark Taylor has a priceless opportunity. And how will that look on his CV? The first Australian captain to win at Bridgetown in Barbados, and he's on strike now. Off the hip for one, but as Justin Langer said, still 39 runs, now 38 to get. And I think that, Michael, shows the amount of respect that the Australians have for the West Indian cricketers. It might only be 38 runs to get, but they're all going to be hard fought.
I think the Australians fully expect to get these 39 runs quite comfortably though, Mike. But Justin Langer has to say that you still have to get the runs that are on the board. 39 runs is not a demanding target by any means. Even if this was the 10th day of the match and the pitch was keeping very, very low. 39 runs is not a lot of runs. Should get these quite comfortably.
Remember a long time ago, Michael, in 1960-61, Australia needed in Melbourne 50-odd runs. I can't exactly remember the number now, against Wes Hall and Sir Frank Worrell and Sir Garfield Sobers and company, and it was an awkward period at about 4 for 22 with Wes on this long run and the gold crucifix thumping against the black torso, but it was a long time ago. 1991, there was a tremendous amount of tension here between Desmond Haynes and Ian Healy. At the height of the conflict, Desmond Haynes had a little bit of grit in the eye and went across to David Boone at short leg and was hoping that Boone would assist him to remove the grit from the eye. Boone thought that perhaps wasn't exactly what was required in the mood of the moment and refused. So Desmond had to go on batting with the grit in the eye. It's the sort of authority you expect from young Michael Slater, into position very quickly.
And Slater, no mood to hang around really. Short ball and well pulled away.
Slater, I think, is entitled to a world rating as a batsman now. It's coming into the Australian side just 2 years ago. Really a most accomplished opening batsman with a very imposing record. He's dreamed of playing against the West Indies. You often think of young batsmen being frightened of playing against the West Indies fast bowlers. But he's dreamed of playing against them. And he's dreamed of playing that sort of shot. Getting inside quickly, it's no wicket for 11. There goes again, short, inside it quickly, rolled the wrist on top of it, ahead of square for 4. It's a glorious shot.
As I said before, Michael Slater is not going to be afraid to play the hook shot. That was well struck.
Walk it up there.
West Indies, in fact, won in 2 days and a bit. So the end of the over, no wicket for 26. And Michael Slater looks very much as if he wants to get this over quite quickly. West Indies today really were beaten within the first half an hour, and here was the key wicket. Len McGrath the bowler, Brian Lara the batsman.
Well, it was a good ball, actually. He had to play it. It was pitched on the stumps, going across him. I mean, it's top-class ball. Nothing you could do about that against a top-class batsman.
Four more. So it won't be long now. Australia just need 39.
Well, Carl Hooper lost his wicket today with a very poor shot. Watch here how he lifts the ball in the air. It's not quite to the pitch. He's reaching for it. Hits it straight at wideish mid-off. Nice catchable high. And he's one of those wickets that I feel given away to the bowlers. He contributed to his own downfall. So many did.
The West Indies today lost 5 wickets before lunch, and that really was just about that. Here's the last wicket before lunch.
Richie Richardson trying to undrive from a ball outside off stump. Poor shot again. Poor thinking before lunch. Nothing wrong with playing the on-drive, but to a ball that's pitching outside, not even on the stumps, it was outside off stump. That's a really poor selection of shot play. I did my analysis of the 20 West Indian wickets that fell in 2 innings, and I felt that 14 of those wickets, the West Indies batsmen, tail-enders, call them what you will, contributed to their own downfall with some poor shot play. Good footwork by Mark Taylor. Just gets into position nice and quickly. Both these batsmen like the pull shot. Lovely feet moving and getting himself across to the offside.
Australia 34. They need 39, and just the 5 more to go 1 up in the series. Their first victory ever at Kensington Oval. Just the 1 needed now. This, a 4-test series, and Australia would have taken a tremendous jump in their quest to regain the Frank World Trophy, which they have not held since 1975-76. And just the 1 run needed now for Australia to win this match by 10 wickets. For the West Indies to lose for the 2nd successive time on a ground where they had previously had 13 consecutive victories and had not lost since 1935. Well, the crowd's going to invade the ground, in fact. It's a no ball, and the match is over from a no ball. Rather anticlimactic finish. Stumps have been taken out. Swarms coming up on the ground. Australian flags all over the place. This is a significant triumph for Australia.